Let us see how to upload and embed video using VideoCypher. Once you register for a trial account, you will be able to see the dashboard. It is already a sample video uploaded onto your dashboard. You can try embedding that for a quick trial, but for a serious purpose, you might also want to upload your own video. So you can click on this green upload button here, which will open your computer file section, and you can upload video from here. Once you are uploading, you can see it in this lower chart. Okay, so please don't click on anything or refresh the page while the video is being uploaded. You have to let the remain tab open as it is while it is being uploaded, else the upload can get cancelled. Once the video is uploaded fully, for few seconds it will show verifying upload. So this would remain maximum till 1 minute after the upload. Okay. Within 30 seconds to 1 minute of the video being uploaded, it will show processing as it is showing now. If for some reason the status of the video still remains verifying upload for long, then it means the video was not uploaded fully. Reason of this error can be either you clicked somewhere on the tab or refreshed the page, or secondly the internet connection broke down. So please ensure that after around 1 minute of the video being uploaded from your panel, it should show a status of processing. Then after some time it will convert and it will show the status ready. How much time it takes to convert actually depends on 2-3 factors. So one thing is the video length. Secondly, how many videos you are uploading in a bulk. Thirdly, some of our server load. So typically for a 15-minute video, on an average, VideoCypher takes around 15 minutes. For a 1 hour video, on an average, it will take around 1 hour. But in some cases, the time can go around double of that video length. We need to encrypt videos differently for different devices. So we create videos for Android, iOS, and desktop separately. So since we have to create multiple qualities and multiple encryption for different devices, it generally takes more time. Apart from uploading directly from the dashboard, you can also choose the import option. So in the import, you have options to import from your Dropbox account, Google Drive account, directly from a URL. Please note that URL here doesn't mean a YouTube URL. Okay, URL here means a URL to the direct video path. Suppose you have a MP4 FLV or a typical video file and it is hosted somewhere and you want to provide the direct URL to the path. So you can do that here. If you have something like a Vimeo Pro account or videos on your own server like Amazon S3, then you can also import directly from there. Some of the things like Dropbox, Google Drive would require your permission so that VideoCypher can access that content. So for one time you have to give that permission. Once the video is uploaded and after some time it is ready, you have to click on the embed button to embed it on your website. If you click on the embed button, you will see that there are 4 options as default there. So one thing is embedding on your WordPress website. Secondly, if you have a website in a custom backend, say PHP, ASP, Node.js language, or then if you don't have the website in your own hand, it is certain third-party tool or an basic HTML page, then you can use our quick embed option to embed there. We also have other options like to embed on Moodle, for which we have a plugin. We will come to that separately. So firstly, a brief overview of the WordPress option. So WordPress is one of the common CMSs being used. So you just have to follow the instructions mentioned here. So there is a VideoCypher WordPress plugin. You have to install it. You have to configure the settings as explained here, and you can embed videos on your WordPress website. Our plugin works directly at the WordPress backend. So if you are using some other themes, etc., it will still be compatible. So there are also supporting document in sense of blogs to help you embed and watermark videos in WordPress. Then we will check the quick embed option. So if you have a website where you don't know much coding, you probably just need an iframe to embed, or you are using some third-party LMS or third-party site where you just can embed using an iframe, then you can choose the quick embed option. In the quick embed option, you can set a time expiry. So for example, here it is set 30 years. You can even set certain things in months, year, days, or minutes, whatever you feel. So if you want it to be unlimited, you can set it probably like something like 30 years or 100 years or so. Then please note that for the security purposes, you have to add a URL whitelist to your site. If you are using a certain WordPress plugin or API, then it is not needed, but in the iframe, you need to add a whitelist. Please note that you don't put your site HTTPS, www, etc. in the URL whitelist. Just simply put the domain like mysite.com. Don't use any slash or HTTPS, etc. Just use the main domain. Then it also has an option to for some users you might require IP or geo based restrictions, so that is also there. Okay. For the particular demo, we are using a simple whitelist. Then you also might want to add the security of watermark for in this case. So you can choose the add watermark option. Then in an iframe based watermark, only actually three things are possible as a watermark. So one thing is that static, one is a like fixed text. So you can set that you want to say, for example, copyright your company name. Okay. Then you also might want to show the user's IP on the watermark. Okay, so then, for example, the IP here is default tick. You also would probably like to show timestamp, or you can maybe probably hide it. You can also change the color code. So this is hex code. You can change the opacity of the watermark. So one would mean that the watermark is very dark. The less it would mean that it is less dense. You can change the color according to the hex code. You can change the size of the watermark. This is the font size. Then you can also choose the move interval and skip. So skip here means, suppose you set a skip of 3 seconds. Then it means that for 3 seconds the video wouldn't show watermark. So it will show watermark from one position to another based on the skip. Then this is the move interval. So whenever the watermark is showing, it can be kept as static or it can be kept as moving. So here in this case, for say a moving watermark, so like it changes its position. So the move interval defines that how much time it takes to change one position from another. So in this case, if it is 2 seconds, it means that it will change from say one position to another within 2 seconds. You can probably increase it to a very large number if you want watermark to be almost static. So how skip and move are different? So move determines that in what time interval it changes its position, while skip determines that for what time interval it will show. So for example, if you set a skip to a very large number, say 60 seconds, then for 60 seconds in between the video wouldn't show watermark. Okay, then again it will show watermark, say for 2 seconds, and then it wouldn't show. So there is also JSON mode. You so click on JSON. Okay, so once you configure the watermark and you want like say similar watermark settings for all your videos, it is good to configure a watermark, try it, and then select the JSON mode and copy it. Now you can copy paste this JSON mode for all the other iframes you generated. And you can click on the generate embed code. You see there are 3 options. So one thing is the iframe embed, which is typically used. If you want the player to be responsive, you can click here. Then there is a script option. So either of iframe or script should work in most of the sites. So then there is a third page option which gives you an independent page. So if you don't, for certain purposes, you don't want to embed it on your website, but you want to share a page, then it is there. So if you just copy paste this iframe in your website, then the video should play. Please note that for secure videos to play in HTML5, you will need an HTTPS on your site. So either you might be trying on a local host, or if you have a live site, then you need to have HTTPS. If you are using HTTP, then the video wouldn't play on HTML5 player, it will play on Flash player. So HTTPS is a must. So we have covered WordPress. and iframe options. In WordPress plugin settings also, if you read the blog, you will understand that how you can also put a watermark in the WordPress plugin. So there is a different video where we have explained the WordPress embedding also in quite detail. Now coming to API based embed. So for developers who have the site coded in their own framework in languages like PHP, Ruby on Rails, Node.js, ASP, etc., they can use our APIs. So we also have sample libraries available for most common languages. Okay. Also, there is a complete API reference page where it explains what are the steps involved. So since our main focus is on security, so there is a backend authentication required using OTP based playback. Also, client secret key is required. So all these steps are explained in this embed module, and also on much detail in the API embed page. So you can check the API embed page and read this doc to embed using API. You would also probably want to add watermark your videos using API. So there is again a sample blog here for adding viewer specific watermark to your videos using API. Now what about other platforms? So for example, you might need embed in say a third party platform. Okay. So for example, if you are using something like say a third party LMS like Teachable. So in the case where you are using third party LMS like say Teachable or say a third party website creation tool like Weebly, then the iframe or script should work. So in most cases the iframe does work. Just ensure that the other site is also in the HTTPS. If you are using something like Moodle, then we have a Moodle plugin. So if you just search for Moodle plugin Video Cipher, then you will get it. Our current Moodle plugin is hosted on GitHub. Okay, then the detailed instructions on embedding using Moodle and watermarking are also mentioned here. You can download the zip file and you can install and follow these instructions to embed in the Moodle. There is also a separate video for more details on the Moodle embedding. So this was about embedding and uploading using Video Cipher. If you still have certain issues, you can ask us. Then there is a device compatibility section you can check in the embed module. So what we mentioned here is we are playing secure videos. So there is a certain compatibility criteria to it, so which the browsers and devices are supported. So we support all the three devices, which are basically desktop, Android and iOS. When I say desktop, we support Linux, Windows and Mac, all three. Please understand that you might have seen that companies like Netflix, etc., they don't play in mobile browsers. They only play in mobile apps. So this is mainly due to compatibility, because the compatibility of the highest security technologies, the DRM encryptions which we are using, might be limited in certain browsers or certain devices. So there is a whole detailed compatibility chart here. So I will give you a summary overview on this compatibility over chart. You can read it from here. But then the summary is, if you are using any desktop, whether it is say Windows, Mac, Linux or anything, then Chrome, Firefox and Opera, they play HTML5 content. Even Safari can play HTML5 content, so it has some modifications involved. Then if you are using mobile, say Android, then on Chrome it will play HTML5 content. If you are using iOS and then you are opening in iOS Safari, then it will play HTML5 content. More details on what technology is being used here is explained in this detailed blog. There is also a separate video on the Video Cipher security details, which will explain more on these things. Some of you might also require embedding in your app, say Android app or iOS app. So there are integration points for embedding in the app. So one is an Android SDK, so which is available at this page. There is also a separate link in the blog explaining more detail for Android SDK. So our Android SDK supports online playback, and it also has a support for offline playback. So offline secure download inside the app, which doesn't play outside, and it can also be set to be a time expiry, say 15 days, 1 year, etc. is also possible. Then we also have an iOS SDK. So the iOS SDK only supports online playback. It currently does not support offline playback. But in some future, say 4 to 5 months time, we do have plan to add even offline functionality in our iOS SDK. There are more details on the exact integrities which are there in the blog.
And also there are separate sections in the support section for, and also videos on Android and iOS integration. You can ask us more on mail.